The United States was one of among many countries which did not hesitate to help Ukraine from the very beginning of this conflict. The US has led the world in providing security assistance, from the Javelins that halted the Russian tanks assaulting Kyiv, to the air defense systems that make it harder for the Russians to attack Ukraine's critical infrastructure, to the armored vehicles that they need for the next phase of this conflict. In this video, we listed the top 5 best weapons supplied by the United States to Ukraine. Let's get started. Number 5 is the ANTWQ1 Avenger. The first Avenger systems entered service in 1989 as a successor to the M163 and M167 systems. The main purpose of this short-range, self-propelled air defense system is to protect ground forces against planes, helicopters, and drones, which in Ukraine are used in large numbers by both sides. Weighing approximately 4 tons, the Avenger is armed with a 12.7mm machine gun and 8 FIM-92 Stinger missiles, placed in 2 launcher pods, each containing 4 missiles. They're mounted on both sides of a rotating turret, which in turn sits on the bed of a regular Humvee. Interestingly, the Americans also handed over to Ukraine the Stingers in the form of ordinary shoulder-fired launchers. Before the war, the US had over 450 Avengers, which they are replacing with the newer M-SHORADs. So far, they've decided to donate 12 Avenger systems to Ukraine. Number 4 is the M109A6 Paladin. The first M109s entered service in the US Army in 1963. And the M109A6 is a modernization of this howitzer, which entered service in 1994. In addition to the obvious changes, such as improving crew protection or increasing the number of rounds carried, the most important of them was the digitization of the fire control system, which significantly shortened the time needed to complete a fire task. It's also important to note that the M109A6 will be the first variant of this type of self-propelled howitzer donated to Ukraine that can fire GPS-guided ammunition, namely the M982 Excalibur. Unfortunately, due to the shorter barrel than, for example, Crab or Caesar, the maximum firing range of this ammunition is only almost 40 kilometers. Also, in the case of conventional high-explosive ammunition and rocket-assisted projectiles, the maximum range is 25% shorter. Before the war, the US had over 1,500 M109s in various configurations. So far, the US has decided to donate only 18 M109A6s to Ukraine. Number 3 is the NASAMs. NASAMs is designed by Norway in the United States short range, or in the newer variants, a medium-range surface-to-air missile system. Unfortunately, Ukraine will receive a short-range variant, which uses older variants of the AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles. They were donated from, among others, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Great Britain. The maximum range of fire of around 30 kilometers is quite sufficient in this case, and a big plus is that one battery consisting of 12 launchers is armed with 6 AMRAAM missiles each, which allows it to engage a large number of targets in a short time. Therefore, the NASAMs used in Ukraine are very effective against Russian cruise missiles and kamikaze drones, which usually attack in large numbers at once. So far, the US has decided to finance 8 NASAMs batteries for Ukraine. At the time of making this video, 2 have been delivered, and another 6 will be delivered by November 2025. Number 2 is the MIM-104 Patriot. It's a surface-to-air and anti-ballistic missile system that entered service in the United States in the 1980s. Its task is to combat all kinds of air threats, such as aircraft or cruise missiles, like the KH-555s or KH-101s, used by the Russians in Ukraine. The Patriot's ANTWQ1 radar set is capable to detect targets at a distance of more than 150 kilometers, and has the ability to track up to 100 of them at the same time. So far, it's not known exactly what missiles Ukraine will receive, but it will probably be the PAC-2 missiles, which destroy the target using a fragmentation warhead, which explodes in its vicinity, and have a range of more than 100 kilometers. The second type of missile is the PAC-3, which destroys its targets with sheer kinetic force, and has a range of 30 kilometers. So far, the US has decided to deliver to Ukraine one battery consisting of 6 launchers. In addition, it will probably be reinforced with 2 launchers provided by the Netherlands. Interestingly, one battery consisting of 8 launchers was handed over to Ukraine by Germany. Number 1 is the M142 HIMARS. The M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System is a multiple rocket launcher mounted on a chassis of an armored truck, introduced into service in the early 2000s, and first adopted by the US Army and the United States Marine Corps. The delivery of HIMARS to Ukraine means that together with a Ukrainian-developed Wilcha, for which they already lack ammunition, gives them the ability to precisely strike targets at long distances, unattainable by systems such as the 9K-79 ANTWQ1. The US has provided the Ukrainians with 2 types of 227mm rockets. The M30A1 alternative warhead with a range of 84 kilometers. It has a 91-kilogram high-explosive warhead with a proximity fuse and approximately 182,000 preformed tungsten fragments for area effects without unexploded ordnance. The second type of rocket is the M31A1 GMLRS Unitary, with a 91-kilogram high-explosive warhead and a programmable fuse. It has a range of up to 84 kilometers as well. It can hit targets accurately with less chance of collateral damage while needing fewer rockets to be fired, reducing logistical requirements. In addition, the M142 can also fire MGM-140 Army Tactical Missile System, with a range of up to 300 kilometers, but they will not be handed over to Ukraine for fear of the possibility of shelling targets deep inside Russian territory. Instead, the US will deliver later this year ground-launched small-diameter bombs with a range of 150 kilometers. Before the war, the US had over 410 M142 HIMARS rocket launchers. So far, they've decided to donate 20 of them to Ukraine and finance the purchase of 18 more. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, visit my second channel with military power comparisons. See you next time!